If you've been asking yourself, when is it going to be my turn? Or you're thinking about moving on impulse just to feel something, remember, a rushed blessing can become a lifelong burden, y'all. So wait for what's yours. Hey guys, and welcome back to Her Revision Podcast, the podcast for women who are rewriting the stories that they tell themselves and that the world tells them. And we are back with another episode, y'all. Today's episode for me is very personal because it's in real time, and I think that it's something that a lot of women go through. A lot of people, I'm not even gonna say just women, a lot of people go through, and I kind of wanted to talk on it because it just hit me this weekend. So I know something's in the air. I just came off a very beautiful, emotional weekend. My best friend, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, just got married, and it was so perfect, y'all. Have y'all ever been so excited for somebody else's wins that it feels like it's your own? My heart was so full. I just felt like this girl deserves all of this. You know, without this being a dedicated episode to my best friend, because it is indeed not, but I do want to plug her because I'm so blessed to have her as a friend. And like, damn girl, you married now. Anyways, I wanted to talk about the after. So, of course, in the moment, your heart's so full, and you're with your people, and you're just like, wow, I'm watching somebody have a blessing, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for them. After some time settles down, in the quiet, when you're just by yourself, the question that popped up in my head instantaneously, and I was alone, y'all, in this episode, that's why I said this is personal for me, because it came in real time. Question popped in my head, when is it going to be my turn? And immediately I was like, yep, that's it. That's exactly what the episode's going to be about, because it's such a valid feeling. And of course, I worked on my emotions in real time. And after feeling it, I realized it's very justified and valid for me to feel that way. And it doesn't take away from your heart being full or you being happy for somebody else's successes or their blessings. But I do want to talk to the person that has had this feeling or is currently having this feeling and doesn't know how to operate outside of it. And I know that whoever's listening has probably asked that same question, and maybe it's been in regards to different things. I wanted this episode to be for the person that's probably the strong friend and who's tired of it. The one who's been clapping for everybody else and their successes, and you're so happy and so full, but you still wonder, when is your name going to be called? This is for the person that feels like she's doing all the right things, and some way, somehow, it's something's not clicking. Your moment hasn't come yet. And I want to put emphasis on the fact that this doesn't have to only be about love. Whether it's for clarity, it's for peace, it's for finances, it's for whatever your aspirations are, this still applies. I want to hold space for that feeling today because I know that it can be something that festers if not checked. And we talk a lot about manifestation. We talk a lot about goals and glowing up and revising our narrative. But we don't always talk about that messy ass middle part. That part where you're waiting and it's so silent that you don't know if you're moving, if anything is going to happen for you in the way that you see it for your life. You're essentially still becoming the woman that God intends you to be, the person that God intends you to be. You're still trying to not lose hope while also maintaining joy for outside things in your life. I want to be with y'all. I am not in a bad place. I am not. I don't feel I am down and out, like nothing ever good happens. I do not feel that way at all. But I am in a reflective place. I'm in a place where I can admit that those feelings are very natural and they do still come up, where I'm just like, wow. Some of the things that I expected out of my life, I'm ready, God. Whether that's for me to be in the best financial shape ever, because, child, I've been spending my money like I'm a scammer. These bills are billing. And that could also mean me wanting a real pure love and tired of the facades of what it should look like, but doesn't quite match up to in these men. I think lately I've been feeling like I've been floating. Like, my podcast is here. I'm very proud. I'm so proud of the podcast. But there are moments where I still feel disconnected from my purpose. That is valid. And I am the type of person that wholeheartedly believes that you should Make room for your feelings, even if you're ashamed of it. Because some of these feelings, you're like, damn, you shouldn't feel that way. But you got to let yourself feel it. So that's why I hold space for me feeling the disconnect from my purpose, from my finances not being exactly where I want them to be. Me getting better, but also being like, damn, I just want it to be right. And even though I still have beautiful things around me, I'm fostering community. I have purpose, even with, sometimes feeling or not knowing exactly where it's going. I have creativity. I'm a very creative person. I still do sometimes feel like something's off, like I'm waiting for something. I'm walking through like a fog, and y'all, when I be praying, I be like, God, I don't know exactly how to tell you what I'm feeling, but I just feel like I'm in this weird space. Like I'm happy, but I'm in this weird space, and I feel like I'm waiting. Just don't know what the hell it is that I'm waiting on. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's what makes this episode necessary, because I know I'm not the only woman wondering, what am I missing? When is that moment that I've been looking for, that time, that thing that I want, when is that going to come to me? When am I going to be able to get into my season of softness, my season of ease? And I'm just going to say it out loud. Waiting is hard. We all know that. That waiting season that everybody talks about, that season of preparation, just because I know that I'm waiting for something, or I'm preparing for something, or God's preparing me for something, that doesn't make it any easier to withstand it. And I want to get out of the narrative that because it's a waiting season, or because you're in a season of becoming, that means that you have to be elated and just not. You're going to have moments where it's just like, okay, wait now. Because every time I look around, somebody else is getting blessed. When is it going to be my turn? You're going to have those moments. And if it's not checked, if you invalidate that feeling, what happens, and what I found happens, is you start to internalize thoughts that are not conducive to your growth. Maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I missed my chance. Maybe I should have did it then. So then, now I'd be set up for the future. Maybe I'm just meant to struggle. Maybe, it's not supposed to be like somebody else's. You will start to have those type of thoughts. And the truth is that none of those thoughts are true. That I do know for myself. I know that I haven't missed my mark. That doesn't mean that I'm not still wondering when it's going to be my turn, but I know that it hasn't, missed me, because that's not how God operates. But when you're in the fog, when you really can't see clearly or really articulate how you feel, all of those lies can still feel real. And I'm going to say this because a lot of us are probably scared to admit it, or ashamed that we feel this way. You can love your life and still have parts of it that you are unsatisfied with. You can root for your friends and your families for their accomplishments and the things that are going on, and still have a moment where you feel like, when is my time coming? You can be soft. You can be very spiritual. You can pray as hard as you want to. You can believe and still feel like you're overlooked at times. Both things can be true at the same time, and I want to validate that. Those emotions are not wrong. They are human. We have to start humanizing our emotions. It is very much okay to feel those ways. The part that I quickly realized that I was doing is that immediately after that thought hit me, something else popped up in my life, where it was like something in my past resurfaced, should I say. And if you don't check those feelings, and then something comes up that immediately looks like it's a sign to take it, even if it doesn't make sense to you or you're not sure why, take a beat first. Because sometimes in our frustration with the weight, we start trying to force things. A lot of us will try to walk through doors that were never meant to be open in the first place. Stop doing it. Do not do it, friend. We try to open those doors that God didn't call us to open. We go back to relationships that never had roots. Nothing was fucking planted. We just want the feeling of having it. We start accepting attention instead of love. We start accepting words over action. We start settling for jobs. We start settling for situations or dynamics that don't feed us, just because we're tired of waiting for something to shift. Just because we're tired of waiting for better, for what God actually has for us. And I've been there, y'all, and I was this close to doing it. And that close enough mindset, it'll convince you to treat your survival like success. Like, damn, maybe I made it now. Maybe if I do this, that'll make me closer to. It will convince you to call chaos a calling, to operate in chaos, to operate in what doesn't make sense, to operate in confusion. When you don't let yourself fully admit that the waiting is hard, but you know that it's for your better, when you don't let yourself fully admit to that and you let your frustration move you, you operate within that spirit of frustration and you move based off of that anxiousness, it'll make you mistake access for alignment. Just because it's been presented to you that means, oh, maybe that's for you. And then you end up sitting in spaces wondering why you're still feeling unfulfilled. That's because the room wasn't built for you in the first place. You were never meant to be there. But because you've been trying to make that time your time now because you're tired of waiting, now you've opened yourself up for having to face the consequences of your actions. And this is not some motivational, your time is coming speech or no pretty Pinterest. I'm not doing none of that for y'all. But what I am saying is your time is being built. And hear me out, because I know that nobody want to hear that shit. But just hear me out. Your time is being built. It is happening behind the scenes. It's happening in the parts of you that is still learning how to be soft while you wait. It is happening while you're shedding the skin of the old you. It's happening in the wisdom that you gained. I just recently went through something where it was just like I fell back into an old way of mine. And I was operating in the spirit of an old situation. It was so mind-boggling to me how easy it is to fall back into like old patterns. Literally down to the way that you converse with somebody. It is so easy to fall back into that I really had to pause because I'm like, wait, I don't feel like my best self. I feel like I'm operating in the spirit of confusion. Like something's off here. And that's because I subtracted the clarity that I've gained to try to fit myself into a space that I never belonged again. That's what I'm learning, that my time might not show up in a grand sweeping moment. And I psych myself out to think that it will be a grand moment. Like, it's going to be one big, that's how I'm going to know. But honestly, it might just arrive as time is unfolding. A gradual alignment. Something that feels like peace instead of performance. Something that doesn't feel like it's being made up. I want you to know that you don't have to settle to feel seen. Don't opt into something because you want to feel needed or get as close to what you want for your life as possible. You don't have to perform to be worthy. You don't have to put on. You don't have to try to make the puzzle fit. You don't have to open a door just because it's unlocked. Child, some doors I tell you, you'll get in them and it's only one-way entrance. And you can't get out. Now you got to wait for the locksmith to come. The locksmith is God, but now you know what I'm saying. Anyways, some doors are cracked just to test your discipline, to see if you've learned what you've grown from, to see if you'll walk into anything just to escape the wait. And I did that. I was this close, y'all, to walking into something just to escape waiting. Don't fall for it. Please don't fall for it. Don't call it timing just because it's available. I've done this in my life before where I'll be like, well, this wouldn't have presented itself if it wasn't God's timing, right? No. You only call it alignment when it feels like peace. Do you feel peace here? And whatever decision this is, and whatever moment that you feel like might be your moment, do you feel peace here? Because God moves in peace. You get what I'm saying? When it doesn't confuse you, when it doesn't ask you to be less than who you are becoming. That's how you know it's God. So stop trying to make yourself be the conductor of your turn. Let God do it. And I'm only saying this not even as a reminder, but as a warning that I know how easy it is to try to force pieces because you are tired. But I do want you to lock into that feeling. It's okay to feel tired. I think that the best thing that happened to me is when I paused and I was like, you know what, wait, am I doing things right now that are making me go backwards? Am I doing things right now where the old me that was crying and telling God, no, I just need to get out of this feeling. I don't want to be in this state anymore. Am I going back to what I was asking God to rescue me from because of the weight, because of that void? Stop trying to do things just for proximity. You want the feeling of knowing what a great love is like. So then you're going to accept bare minimum because at least you'll be close to, that idea. It's better than nothing, right? No. I'm in a season where I'm learning to breathe through the wait. I know that I'm in a waiting season. I know that this fog that I'm feeling is very natural, but I have to breathe through the wait. I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm in a wedding. No, because the most important thing is knowing to not go back to what I outgrew, to not let loneliness make decisions for me, to not let fear push me into somebody else's blessing. And if you're in that season too, you are not alone, friend. It is okay to feel a little lost. It is okay to be tired. Tired, y'all. A little sad, unsure. It is okay. But also know that you are not forgotten. You are not behind. And you are just being prepared for something that is actually yours. Not close enough, not borrowed, not forced. Yours. That's the difference between you choosing when it's your turn and when God is choosing it. Because it's going to be yours when God does it. So if you've been asking, when is it going to be my turn? I don't know when, but I know that when it is, it's going to feel different. And I said when it is because it's going to happen, right? It's not going to shake you. It's not going to make you confused and now you rethinking it and you having to sit on it for days at a time. It's just uneasy. It's not going to make you feel any of that. It's not going to leave you drained. It's going to feel like rest. When I imagine, it's going to feel like clarity, like a home. I always used to say in certain situations that I found myself in, I knew that I want to be with this person. Or I want to be, because they feel like home. But make sure you pay attention to whether or not God is covering that house. Because not everything that feels home to you is safe. And that is what you have to consider when you try to force something. I want to tell you guys, thank you so much for tuning into an episode of Her Revision. If this episode resonated with you at all, if this episode met you where you are, share it with somebody else you love. Somebody who might be floating too, who might need this reminder, this encouragement, this warning, child. And don't forget, you can subscribe to my Substack, Rewritten, where I go deeper into these kind of conversations. It's a little bit more raw, a little bit more diary style, relatable. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, make sure y'all please stay grounded, stay safe, stay prayed up, baby. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching me on YouTube. Don't forget to rate the podcast if you're listening to me on any streaming platform. Until the next time, bye.